Welcome, 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 welcome. Let me lower these beautiful songs. Alright. See who we have in here, who we don't have in here. What up, my friend? Oliveira. Let me do a few more things, kind of like chop me up right here. Let me go ahead and pause this and be officially rolling. Okay. Seems like we're A-okay. Green on the bars. Mic is A, testing okay. So let's go. Hopefully my computer's not as choppy as it's been the last few days. I don't know why it's been doing that. I might have to just close out of like a few other things like Discord just for now. Just so start on a higher time frame or mid time frame, whatever. So big tests here, big questions here. It's very difficult to say. I want to see how big of a bar this is. And besides the low is the next biggest bar, which technically speaking, I think like the way I saw the structure initially from the low side to the high side here was an impulse, right? Step closer. The only thing I didn't like coming off from here was this. This seemed like not like an impulse. Like it just seemed kind of weird. Like it seemed like it was a three-way pattern, but I guess by the looks of it, we could accept this. Let's just do some other checks because we need to make sure of some things. And this is valid, believe it or not. This is still working on, I think this is still working on this final wave here. Disregarding this, so regardless of what this is, I don't really care because the structure is kind of hard to tell. No matter what, from this low, I take it as the start of an impulse, whether it's wave 5 or just an entirely, you know, the entire wave I'm looking at to count as this sister wave here, you know, being either A, this is B, C, or you could, I would just based on this structure here, this looks like an ABC here because this like this movement upside was kind of like too much for me. What we normally would allow for max range for a C wave, I mean a B wave. Usually your max is at the 1.6, and we surpassed that. So I didn't really like that for a flat. So I'm one to even argue like you could even consider calling it like this, some weird complex. And from this low, there's definitely a 5-way pattern. So that's all we have to try to focus on right now. 1, 2, and the reason why I call this the start of 2 instead of here is because on Bitcoin, that low right here gets broken. See that? So if we're starting this, the way I'm looking at this right now is like this. This is 3, and we're in 4 now. Working on 5. One thing I like is that we so far have flipped this area of resistance to support, right? So let's go ahead and take this red. So as long as we're above that, you know, I think our next area of resistance is extremely at jeopardy to get tagged. This entire area is a daily order block, and this one I'm just marking out is a 4-hour order block. Okay. So daily order block is the entire area right here, while the 4-hour order block is the one that is labeled right now. So this area is going to be a pretty strong and significant area. Same with this one, because that one also was a 4-hour, but from this low to this high, like that, was a daily order block, and I could prove that to you as well. No, we need to. Oh, right there. That's the daily order block right there. Right, but now it's support. Right? So basic concept is that we move up one more. But if we were to do that, I'm going to argue that we're not going to break the low, and my WXYZ idea is probably going to be wrong. Because we could allow a break in the channel, but a deviation in the channel, but not by much. And we want to be sucked back in. And so far, like this movement here is basically like almost the max amount of deviation I would want to allow for. Oh my god, you know what this is? It's a neutral triangle. That's fucking hilarious. All this weird ass 3 patterns. And then that. Damn, that's fucking beautiful. Let's look at one thing here as well. We could technically run to this level here and completely be valid for this pattern. The only thing what would have to happen, like this has to happen within today, like it has to happen quickly. But if we're to break 1640 after this, I'm assuming we have one more up for this final wave for C wave at a bare minimum, and at a maximum, what I'm about to explain here is, if say we just rock it here and break those levels, well, I'm definitely with the idea that we're gonna pull back like this, and then create a wave 3, and then go higher, and then this will end up being a completed pattern like this. W X Y, which is an idea I had initially, but then how we like ran up with this and all that weird correcting phase, I was like, maybe we're not doing that, and I started throwing up this WXYZ idea after we started moving up in a weird way. But this idea is very much on play. Structurally, time-wise, everything makes sense. Take that to high, take that to low. X makes it high and where you expect it. And the max amount of time essentially for Y is there as well. 3-way pattern, down, up, down. 3-way pattern, up, down, up. 3-way pattern, down, sideways, down. Right? So 3 to 3. Thus, that will make this entire thing go like this and turn into this, which is what we've been shooting for a very long time. That's why I'm thinking this idea to get in along here. It's not a bad idea, and target this area here for the end of the day. But we have to hold these areas, and let's dive into like the lower time frame here. Oops. Because this gap's going to want to get filled. Depending on how this closes, if this candle closes like this gap might want to get filled, so we have to make note of that. I like the positive momentum here. I like that we have stronger volume here than the initial movement here. So it tells me that's pretty much a valid wave 3. Hourly, it was a little bearish at top, but if we start trading above this level here, which is 1495-ish, I think that's pretty much all games ahead to 1575 to 1640. I would say we must maintain a positive aspect on either both SRSI and OG Chevy, or definitely 100% the 21 moving average has to stay positive. We have to sustain it. If we break the 21 moving average, that's to me is a reversal. That to me tells me that we're most likely done with the C wave, or whatever this structure is here currently. Because this could be a weird ass W. This is X. This is Y. It could, literally could. There's too many ways and uncertainties with this structure because how complex and how many just subways there is to everything. That you can't really run away with anything in terms of Elliott wave. And this will be W flat, some sort of X wave that breaks the boundary of your 0 to B line, which it does, and then make a zigzag, three-way pattern, A, B, C, which to me, this movement to here to there, I have to distinguish this as a singular three-way pattern. And this is its correction, right? So this is a three-way pattern, right? So this idea is very much in place. We have to be very aware of if this is indeed a WXY, that after the conclusion of this fifth wave, we're gonna come down pretty hard and heavy, and then by the time end of the week or next week, we'll probably be down here. Key telltale sign that that's happening is if we break below 1400. Let's dive into lower time frames now. As long as we sustain these highs, the order block, we're good for another high. I would not like us below. Definitely would not want to close below 1450. I could allow a retrace at 1335, but it has to be a wick and has to be a strong bounce immediately. So let's go to here. Freaking killed these little trades in here, dude. Those fucking monsters. Yesterday's long in here, longed 1341. We got this pullback. I initially longed this pullback here, but I saw this weird thing complexing. I think this was like a little flat. Drop down here. Once I saw this little lower time frame area high, this high get broken. That's the one I got in on once that high got broken at 41. Got in. Set a stop at this low. That was could have been risky because Bitcoin actually broke this low. But I got fooled because when I read this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which it was because this is A, B, C. But that's where the C wave ended. So it ended up being something more complex. I think C coming. But regardless, great trade. I ordered to close at 1400, which it did right there. And on this pullback, I just added back because to me, I was just like, dude, this is going to our target. That the target initially was 1480, and then just rolled that to there. On this pullback again, I just assumed this wave 2. Then the way this retraced initially, I thought that was part of the start of wave 4 here, like this. But then we made 5 waves up. So then that's okay. We're now in 4. This is 3 now. Now we're in 4. So far, I like the reaction off this low, but again, we could accept a movement below this area, but we have to maintain a close above 1450. That's for sure for me. There's a gap here that still needs to be filled, that would want to be filled eventually. Whether it gets filled or not now or not is, that's on the market to decide. That's the midpoint of that gap. So I wouldn't be surprised if this happens here, like this, but we have to maintain this back on a close. to even have a hope of having this idea happen. Regardless of what happens, I think a short of this final move will be a good scout play, mid-term, like a good short-term trade, daily trade. And even this long if we get some more confirmation that this is happening. What I do like again is that we're positive on the 5-minute time frame, positive on COG Chevy. So we would really want the 20 moving average to get positive. So all our criteria to get into a long here not essentially met yet. As soon as it starts turning positive, then we can get in with more confidence that our idea that this is a 4 to a 5 is happening. Another thing I don't like is the 15-minute time frame, which is a really good scalping time frame, or like day trading time frame for entries and stuff. We're below the 21, and we're super negative on RSI. Usually when we run into the middle of areas like this, we like to at least break down and test this green box. So just be aware of that. But in my opinion, that would probably be a decent opportunity to get in there's a partial bid there. Not fully, because we don't know what's happening for certainty, and this could just topple down, go all the way down. So you don't want to bid with your full lot. You have to bid with a partial, and then once we get confirmation, like you say, getting back in this range, accepting some levels, then you add on your position, because that's you're more confident on that. We're gonna go higher, right? So that's what I'm gonna be eyeing here on the 15-minute time frame. This, and then also on the 5-minute time, I'm just gonna be seeing if the 21 moving average to get positive. Because right now it looks like we're rejecting it, unless we want to come test this like 1440 area. And if you know the rule of alteration in terms of value of wave, wave 2, if it's sideways, wave 3 should be very sharp. This is sideways, right? That's sideways, right? Although this did retrace probably 60%, 68%. This is the pattern itself is sideways, right? The pattern, the action this took was sideways. It took a long time, right? This will retrace not 60%, it will retrace less than 50% of this current move. So here's less than 50. Look how well the algo fits with our gap aspect on this 15-minute time frame, where we're thinking we're just going to test this 1440 area. Here's the midpoint of this current move, wave 3. And if the rule of alteration is going to be true, that means we're not going to retrace near 60%, but we're going to retrace in a fashion that is sharper than the structure of 2. And if 2 is a flat, then we would anticipate wave 4 being a zigzag, thus making this idea very valid, right? This would be a quick little A, B, C, get us to our levels that we're looking for, at least 38% of price or time. We already hit the 38% in price. We don't have to necessarily do it in both. So that's it just depends on what happens here. Oops, wrong thing. And here's time. So if we make this other low and hit this level, I'll partial bid that. And as soon as we accept 1450 again, 1455, especially if we accept 1475, I know that's a big gap, $20, but as soon as we accept that level, those levels, I think that's a very strong indication that not only do we have a gap algo, we have Elliott Wave saying this is possible for, based on both price and time. Current movement's up. Usually when trends start happening, especially like strong trends like this, and they kind of like happen after the close of the New York Open. So when did this happen? Or during New York Open, the trend will continue until New York session closes. So roughly, my time is roughly like 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I think. Oh no, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Because they're 3 hours ahead of me. Wait, so that makes it 2. So yeah, basically over now. And that's why I'm getting on these ideas and times of like opens and closing, because a lot of pivots happen. A lot of either pivots or trend continuation happens. Right? So I'm watching for this. I'm thinking it's going to happen. Quick, hard, ABC. Rinse all these late longers that FOMO'd up here. That FOMO'd all in his wicks. Rinse them out. Then send it back up higher. Get them back FOMOing long. Buying back where they lost their original position. Hits 5 to get all happy, all giddy. They move their stop up to get, and then get rinsed off for here. And then at this point, we don't know what's going to happen. If we maintain levels, then it's possible that we make it 3. I'm at 4 on a higher degree, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it just all depends on what happens on the conclusion of this wave 5. Okay. But for me, I am pretty confident that we still need a final wave 5 of this degree here in purple. I know there's a lot of colors going on here, a lot of drawings and stuff, but clean it up. I'll leave it there for now. I'm liking this setup a lot, honestly. It looks really good. This looks like it's definitely going to do this, honestly. I like the setup on this time frame too. The 2-minute time frame is giving us a short setup. One may want to take that. Structure of this kind of looks like it could be an impulse, so just be wary. I took a short up from up here. I closed it at 1460, unfortunately. I had an initial idea that we're gonna range up here, but now looking at it, I should have probably anticipated a zigzag instead of this. Especially the velocity of this, one or two things are gonna happen. It's either gonna be a zigzag or it's gonna turn into a triangle. Which triangles are more rare, so we never anticipate a triangle, so we anticipate a zigzag. So if you're going to take this trade, 5-minute time frame has to agree with it too. 5-minute time frame is not quite there yet. How about that? I like the fact that this is though. So this is not a bad setup for a short, like a short scalp. There's a possibility that this is an entire B wave and it's done, and we're now breaking the downside. Which again, I think a pivot will happen roughly, in the next 30 minutes or so. Which this is the last, 2 to 3 is the last hour of closing time for New York session, I think. Pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. For me personally, it's not a bad looking setup. It's like total market cap. What's a little bit different on this? See, the total market cap looks like an impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although you didn't get any zigzag or like roll alteration that way, you did get the roll alteration for the time, very short, very long. Above, so that high on ETH would be, I think above 1475 I'll get on a long punt. Partial, and then I'll wait for my other signals and stuff to come through to get in the rest. Which, again, covering it again. Making sure this stays positive, making sure we I don't think it would tap this, honestly. Unless we do the zigzag thing, which is, it's not a bad idea. Unless we do the zigzag thing, then I don't think we'll test it. So far, we retraced enough for a considerable wave 4. We could consider that bottom just based on how far we retraced. So I'm gonna do. I wouldn't trust this 2 minute setup anymore. I don't like it. Not bad though. 5 minutes saying positive. Only thing is saying negative. For now it's 21. As soon as that turns positive, that things all go ahead. And I like that this is an order block that it's just our first time testing this order block, by the way. And this order block broke this high. So we'd assume that as long as we maintain over it, it's gonna move up. But I'm not willing to long it until the lower indicators turn positive. They look too like you want to roll over too much. Prove to me, don't get it along. Set my stop at this low. With the understanding that we could do this still. You never know. This could just go like this, then do this. And same aspect. If we maintain that level, maintain this range, I'm with the idea that this is gonna go up and test at least, 1455 and all the way up to possibly 1640 on the crazy end. Okay. Go to Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin makes me this is why I think Ethereum's in a corrective phase, or possible corrective phase. Just because we haven't gone anywhere. But I have seen Bitcoin lag like a motherfucker before, and then all of a sudden it rockets late, and then finally proves to itself that okay, fine. Based on structure, I would assume that, and based on Ethereum's movement, I would assume that this is going to end up being the structure. And this last move here is going to be the poise and the movement that he's going to have for his final move here. That's my idea. And then, unfortunately, this looks like this had a high chance of being a B wave. And this has a high chance of being this X wave thing I'm talking about, guys. Could also be a weird ass leading diagonal I'm not seeing. And this is ABC. And this turns into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Regardless, I think this order block holds first time, for sure. For at least a 10% to 15%, 10 to 25% bounce. 1100 to low side 1000. I think it bounces back up into 1400 for sure. So yeah, one more high, and then we have to really, really gauge what happens. That's my idea on Bitcoin and Ethereum. See, this is clearly 3 waves. Like, you cannot argue to me looking at Bitcoin, that's 3. So this must be 3. It's just that Bitcoin retraced a lot more of that final move, make it more of a valid corrective phase, structurally. This is kind of confusing, right? Yeah, so I'm with this. I'm with this idea. This being a neutral triangle type thing. This pattern ends here. Could be ABC still though. Yeah, I'm with this idea here. This is officially my final count, I think. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm thinking this is all a correction. Not impulsive. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to go ahead and run with that idea. Movement from here to here was part of a larger ABC zigzag, which is currently moving. Oh, this is the wrong thing. This turns into that. That's my idea. There's a fucking fire truck going off and dog's howling. You hear him? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so funny. RJ! Hold on, I need to go grab him.
Sometimes when you're here, I can feel no doubt, 'cause you keep me where the stars are found. It doesn't really matter, 'cause you're here with me now. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, 'cause you're here with me now. It doesn't really matter, 'cause I feel so free now. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes when you're here, I can feel no doubt, 'cause you keep me.
Sorry about that. Yeah, little homie was freaking the fuck out. I see someone's message trying to pop in, but not coming through for some reason. Yeah, so primary stasis is this, guys. As long as we maintain this areas, I think we're going to test this area. From here, I think we have to really consider like short hedging on a higher time frame type stuff like that. Allowance of if price does get over 1640 and does it with confidence, then obviously this is wrong. This order block is the line in the sand between if we are still in a corrective phase, big ass corrective channel thing, or if we're actually breaking out an impulse of 1, 2, and this is 3 up here like that. It just all depends on how you label the structure and how you gauge the structure. Where do you consider the beginning of the movement here? Is it here? In that case, to me, that's very supportive of three-way patterns. Or is it here? If you do it from here, you could get away with labeling this 1 and 2 possibly, and we're in a 3. But then we have to really break some levels like 1640. Without doing that, then I think this is definitely going to happen. Okay? Again, we kind of covered Bitcoin already, essentially the same aspects. I think if we do get that last final push, it's going to be Bitcoin's going to rocket through this area. There's a big gap of nothingness here. Let's go to this chart real quick. So above this level essentially starts being basically nothingness, right? So let's go and just delete this shit for now. And we've tested this area once, twice, 3 times, arguably. 4th time, I think it breaks. So I think that this turns into... I don't know exactly how you'll label this one either, but I'm thinking as soon as we get one single close outside of this range, which it might not happen. It might just be building up, and just boom, rocket right into this area of resistance. And as long as on a pullback we maintain this on a close, so I'd expect that it's just gonna rocket through this gap, fill that gap, and then come down, break that momentarily, wick down here, and that's your chance to get in with the hopes that it's gonna come and fill these two and take that high out. Because I think this is an entirely one single correct pattern back in. The target would be this high here, which is a pretty good close with that, right? And my deal with SPX and NOS was that we're in WXY, W is X, we're in Y. And that this is A, we're in a B. Oh shit. A, B, C. We could do this, or we could just do this. I don't know. Depending on what happens here will depend what really happens in our market and stuff like that. But this is what I'm thinking so far.
What's that, buddy? What's that? You're so cute.
You're so cute and playful and innocent. Okay. Yeah. So structurally, like it looks pretty good for a reversal, right? SFP, this low side. Left shoulder, head, and then I'm assuming we're going to retrace no matter what. Right shoulder, right? Now it depends on what happens here. Is he going to do this? Or we're going to end up just dropping out. Below 11.25, we're definitely thinking we're not doing this. We're definitely thinking we're just going to immediately go to the downside. But I do think at a bare minimum, we're going to probably do this. And if I'm wrong, then we break the high at 12.880. And we continue higher to 13. We'll probably at least test 1450, or it's probably turn into this. If that happens, if we break, I would argue, yeah, this high here. So if we break this high here at 1280, 1290, then I'm definitely with the idea that this turns into some weird complex combo thing like that. What's this? This would be we would miss this trade, right? We'd most likely miss all this trade, but the idea is that we'd possibly get it on a short if we do confirm this by breaking here, SFPing, rejecting here. That'll be our trade. Stop here. Target slow side. Right. Yeah, I'm thinking, gold looks like shit to me. I think this comes down further. It could be the chance that this is like a... Regardless, though, I think it's limited on... I can't think this happens, actually. One last hurrah, and then it collapses. It's high time for me talking. I don't really trade gold. I don't really have anywhere to trade it besides the SPX. It doesn't this look like it's gonna do this? Like, look at all this. And now we're closing above that area. I think as long as our daily candle closes like this, which it will in the next 2 hours, it's all seem ahead to, 2,200, 22,000 to possibly 23,000. Then beyond that, we really will have to see what happens. Which I think is going to do that, and then this, and then this. This is just one big A, B, C. This turns into a possible, hopefully, praying, huge flat. We don't know though. We can only keep drawing possibilities, certainties, and stuff like that. Not certainties, but, draw all these hypothetical, whatever you want to call them, ideas, whatever, blah, blah. We don't really know until it happens. With that, I'm going to open up my Discord, making sure I have any questions in there. I think we're pretty good, man. Like, we know what I'm looking for. I primarily only trade Ethereum and Bitcoin. I look at NASDAQ and SPX to kind of gauge sentiment on our side. If I can't really get a good gauge on what structures we're forming, I'll look at other markets that have some sort of what do you call it? Algo, I guess. Algo. There's a proper word for it. But anyways, with that, my friends, I try to make this as short and snappy as possible because it doesn't need to be difficult or complex or confusing. Understanding and building a trading plan shouldn't be hard. If it's hard, then it's gonna be hard for you to figure out where you're wrong and where you're right. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. It should be very easy to start look at a chart and start building a trading plan based on what the chart's telling you, or not. If you can't understand what it's telling you, then you sit out and wait until it tells you something that makes more sense to building a proper trading plan. And trading plan does not mean that's not your trading strategy. Your strategy is part of your trading plan. Like a trading plan is like what we've been discussing today. Like we need to see price do this, and at that point we look. Then we enter on a pullback, or then we enter on a blah blah blah. Or watch for momentum to build up and cross over the mid band and cross over the 21 moving average in the lower time frame to possibly confirm a reversal for the structure you're looking for on a higher time frame. Right, stuff like that. So. I'm not seeing any more questions rolling in here or anything like that. So, if anyone has any last minute questions or concerns, you use your time to go ahead and ask me them, and I'll go ahead and answer probably one or two charts or something like that, and then we get out of here. All right? I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little drink, and then we'll answer those last few. I'll get 2 charts from anybody who wants to ask me a chart. Dude, I need to stop eating sweets, bro. I hate the holidays. I'm getting fat, guys. Fuck. Jesus Christ.
Believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night. Neath the pale moon, loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my mind. I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
Alright, my friends. I'll go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to start the tunes playing and get this on the outro. So thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all as well. As always. Thanks for tuning in here. Drop what you want more of next time. Drop what you like, what you hate. I always pay attention to the comment section. If you liked what the stream today, please hit that thumbs up. It helps more than you think. Oh, you're in Discord? Where? I don't see no ad. I see nothing. Where? Where in Discord? Oh, message request. Holy shit. I just barely noticed that, except. Okay, I accepted 2 people's.
Creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. I go where the windows
I'll add you to. I'm pretty sure you're the guy who wanted. What was it? SRSI. I'm so weak. That's so funny. Yeah, I wasn't it? Was it SRSI? Can't remember. Pretty sure it was SRSI that you wanted access to, which I will gladly do because I will see you in the stream, bro, and I appreciate the support. Oh my freaking! I hit my shin so hard yesterday. It's freaking breathe. Where is it? So many. I think this one, right? Oh, was it updated? Yes, this is one. So you should have access to that. Yeah, thank you guys. With that, I hope you guys have a great, blessed weekend. Wait, what day is it? It's Tuesday. Holy shit. Fuck. Whoa. I'll probably be on stream with Cobra tomorrow, and then I'll get a end of the week stream on Friday as always. I'll try to keep this repeat as possible. Alright? Let's get it. Catch you then. Y'all be safe. Make sure to practice good risk management. Make sure to always journal, write down things, write down your losses. Your losses help you more than your wins. I promise you that. Alright guys. Peace. Be fucked. Out.
Thank